Hi, it's Roger here with episode 12 of Entrepreneur TV, and this week we are going to be focusing at the 12th of our principles on how to 10 times your business, and this one is all about purpose. As you can see behind me, the Sydney Opera House, which has one purpose, which is to be able to help any orchestra in there to sound their best. And then secondly, it has a different purpose, which is to be an awesome landmark for Sydney. So how did that happen? How does it end up with two different purposes? This is where most of us, when you're starting your business, get it wrong. We start with the fact that we think there's one big purpose, which is what's my whole meaning in life? I don't know. I'll figure that out later. And then we actually miss the point. There's actually a second type of purpose, which is actually much more important. And you need the two of them together to be able to really achieve the greatness that you're meant to achieve. So how does this work? So if you are just getting started in a business and you're thinking, well, I see all these people out there like Elon Musk and people like Richard Branson that have some big purpose in their life, I don't have something like that. You don't need to start with something which is as big and as grand as changing the world. In fact, I'm going to give you the two different types of purpose and a story, and then how you can apply this in your own life as well. First of all, let's just talk about the two different parts. Think about this from the point of view of like a tree, right? So you've got these big trees up here, and every tree has one part of it when it gets started. Like if it starts in like a pot plant, it starts with the pot, right? And then from the pot, it then has the sunshine. Think of the pot as effectively your bigger purpose. Think of it in terms of your work in your purpose. Like if you know you're out to change the world in some way, that you need to have a pot plant. The bigger the pot, then of course, the bigger the plant. But there's a second type of purpose, which is the sunshine. See, this side over here has the sun, and that's actually allowing all the trees to grow. And so here we are in the morning with a whole new day, and what starts every day is the sun. So if you start with that whole thought process that there's something you're reaching for, that's a different type of purpose. This is not so much the purpose which is actually encasing the entire tree, it is now the purpose in every cell. So that's the difference of the work in your purpose compared to the purpose in your work. One of them is meaningful, the other one is full of meaning. So let me give you first of all a story, and then I'll kind of share how this works within your own business and how to find it. If we take an example of someone who actually now is fully on purpose with his Gates Foundation, Bill Gates, he didn't start with this massive idea to go out and change the world. In fact, he got inspired back in the 1980s when he first started Microsoft with the story of Rockefeller, where Rockefeller, before he knew what he was going to do with his life, just knew he wanted to give. And so he gave 10% of every dollar he made. He put a little ledger together, and he actually had this ledger where he actually tracked every 10% of the money he made to give away. And he gave it in different ways until he finally found his larger purpose. With Bill Gates, he thought, I'll do the same, but I'm not really making much money right now, but I've got computers, I'll start the computers. So he started by saying, right, I'll start by going out and seeing who can actually get the most value from my computers. I reckon it's libraries, right? Because libraries have got all these books, and the future of books are going to be on computer. So he goes to the libraries, he starts giving them his computers. That's his purpose, because he's just giving, right? And then from there, he finds out, as he goes to visit the libraries, not everyone's really using the computers anymore because people aren't even going to the library as much anymore. So he thinks, well, maybe there's a better place for my computers. And he thinks, schools, that's where I should go. So he goes to the schools, he starts giving his computers to the schools. He goes and visits the schools. This is over several years. He finds that the schools don't actually need computers as much as they need teachers or good teachers. So he decides that he's going to actually start the Gates Foundation to really support the growth of teachers, which is what he then does. He then finds that actually out of all the schools, it's not the wealthy schools that actually can get the most value from these computers, it's actually those in the inner cities, it's those who need the most help. So he redirects his focus once again, and his whole strategy shifts. Each time he's giving, each time he is doing something which is full of meaning, each time he's doing it in such a way that's leading him to something new, and then from basically then realizing that the inner cities actually need it, he thinks, well, maybe it's not even in America, I should be focused. And that's when he has his first trip out to Africa. And when he gets to Africa, he finds out now at this point, the teaching program's working great, but he finds it's not actually the teachers that kids need most. It's actually the medical aid. It's the fact that these kids are just looking to survive. And so off the back of that, what he does is he changed strategy again, and he starts focusing at the medical side, and his entire Gates Foundation is now a lot more focused at how it can actually go about curing preventable disease than it is about focusing at the education side. Even though it still does some of that, the point is he now has found his bigger purpose. So your bigger purpose actually unfolds through your smaller purpose, through your whole focus at service. So how do we do it, right? How do we find this and how do we get started? Well, the first thing is if you want to go and look for your bigger purpose, we have the purpose test, which you can actually take for free, which shows you which of the 17 United Nations global goals is the right one for you. And that's one, there's a link below. You can just go take the test and then go link up with other entrepreneurs that have the same purpose. So me, for example, my number one purpose in life is quality education. That's one of the 17 United Nations global goals. And for me, it's about how can I help support the entire global movement of the education revolution. And that's why we set up the Genius School. It's why I actually travel around the world to do the programs I do. It's why I do these videos thinking there'll be someone watching these videos that will actually find something that I say that will actually allow you to be able to become the person that you're meant to be. And at the same time, just by articulating this allows me to get my own thoughts in order about what it is every time I'm thinking about a particular principle when it comes to entrepreneurship as well. So number one thing, quality education is the bigger picture, but what about not the work in my life's work, but what about the work in terms of now every individual action I actually take? That's a whole different thing. And so from that side, it's about service. It's about how can I every day be of service to my customers, of service to my community in the most effective way possible, which then enables me every day to have that power and that direction to go and find that bigger purpose as well. Think about the difference if I was to, instead of ask you when you wake up in the morning, what is the work you're waking up to, right? Because you'd be thinking every day, waking up to work. Compared to if I was to ask you every morning, what is your life's work that you're waking up to? Just that one word, life. Because many people in the world are waking up every day to work. Some people in the world are waking up to their life's work. And the whole key to purpose of being meaningful is you see that your business, that your enterprise, what you're creating is more than just work. It's your life's work. Every day you get the chance to wake up and create a masterpiece. And realize that when it comes to something like our conduct, which is just how we're acting, you can't be out there saying, this is who I am. You need to be out there acting it, doing it, and actually being it. And people will always be looking at something like your character and base it on your conduct. So character is based on conduct. When it comes to purpose, the larger purpose is based on contribution. So the story of Bill Gates is at every point he was contributing. Today, what are you contributing towards? It might be small things. It might be contributing to your family. It might be contributing to your first customer, right? It might be contributing to the people around you. Whoever, it might be contributing to your boss or your team. But the point is, that's still a purpose. That's what you're contributing to today. But the difference of contribution, which is the larger picture, and then what actually kicks it off, which is connection, that is what your smaller purpose or your DNA is all about. So think about it from the point of view that I don't need to start by knowing my entire life purpose. I just need to know that every day I'm already being of service, that every day I'm already doing something which is not all about having to be purposeful, having to be every day meaningful in what you do, but instead full of purpose. Every day you're doing something which is full of meaning. If you think in that way and you say, well, today I can already start, right? What would it be I could do today which would be full of meaning, which would make the difference? That's the difference of the roots compared to the branches of the tree. See, have a look at this tree here. I mean, how awesome is this? We're right now, if you haven't been here in Sydney, in the Botanical Gardens, and you can see here these incredible roots going right down into the ground, and they go down as far as you can see the branches going up, right up there as well. And the whole key thing to purpose is most of us, we're trying to go out there to create one side of the tree without the other, wondering why it keeps toppling over, without realizing that the roots are all about the connection, right? And if you actually start getting connected to your purpose, it starts getting deeper and deeper, but only as much as the branches are able to grow into the sunshine as well. That you need both types of purpose to be able to enable the entire tree to grow. So keep that in mind as you go about your work today and ask yourself, is that my work or is this my life's work? And how can I do something meaningful today that allows me to achieve my life's work tomorrow? Hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll catch up with you on the next week's episode.